This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised.
Teams arrived in Seoul with the same goal, win it all and make history. But today, two teams will see their dreams of lifting a trophy slip away. It's time for our first elimination matches. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Day 7 of VALORANT Champions, coming at you once again live from the COEX Artium in Seoul, South Korea. Goldemo here alongside Brendan Mimi as we break everything down today. And hi, guys. How was your day off, Mimi? Did you have fun?
Good.
I
did laundry and watched the game.
Yeah. You're such a responsible adult. I love it.
The games were insane, though.
Yeah,
the last one ended at almost midnight. I mean, both of them were ridiculous. Traces of first seed in playoffs. Yeah. I don't see who could have seen that coming.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Bren claims
that's just not.
Okay, well,
you wanted them to win that match, but not for them to win. Like
not
from the start of the tournament after watching their game. Yeah.
No, of course not. But I thought that the map pool would listen. Again, every time I come onto this desk, I feel like I'm just kind of gassing myself up unintentionally.
And you are.
But I am going to gas myself up, and it might be slightly intentional this time because I did pred it. But this match here as well, I'm dead impressed with EDG.
Yeah,
I was like absolutely wiped after finishing cast, and this one is insane, right? But I think EDG showcased that they can actually adapt very well and anti-strat teams from this was my major takeaway, I think, on all of these maps.
But I was a little disappointed in them towards the end of that series. I think getting pulled down a little on Haven, some of the fundamentals slipping, and then honestly, G2 kind of starting to run away with things on that third map. So they'll make it out of groups as well as a first seed. Such a cool story for those boys to make it in their first year at partnerships after missing out in 2023. And now they're one of the top 8 teams with a top seed.
I mean, 100%.
Champions. That's crazy.
Those guys, the former guard, now, G2 when they picked them up after, like, those guys earned everything that they've clawed tooth and nail for this. Trace, another great example of that. Icy even mentioning that when they scrimmed Trace in Shanghai, he was like, I kind of knew that they would be demons. And that, again, genuinely shocked. We got to talk to some players about their scrim results more often with these Chinese teams to get the download.
Actually, getting the streets talking and finding out what's going on, because that's the thing, right? With Trace as a team, they've always had the potential, I think, to do really well, but I think they've almost been hard-nerfed by the chaos of their region.
Yes.
But when you put them up against a more standardized team that plays in a quote-unquote optimal way, which is how we see it, like in America's EMEA or whatever, and even some portion of Pacific, they match up a lot better.
It is crazy to me that the two teams with, in my opinion, the most honesty, playing the most honest Valorant, are G2. Oh, okay, that makes sense. And then Trace Esports. Like the structure, the fundamentals, and honestly just their adaptations in that series were so impressive.
Yeah, it really was. Well, and another really fun fact about this too is that you have all #1 seeds representing all 4 regions. So that brings us to our MasterCard fan poll today. What's the word of the day?
Parity?
Yep.
Parity. There it is. We've got parity
was that
right
actually
here.
the word?
Yes.
You were looking for?
Yeah.
Do I say it a lot?
A lot.
I mean, maybe. I
do say it.
That's not a bad thing. It's a good word.
No, it is a good word.
Well, let us know who you think is going to have the most teams in the playoffs. All right, which region is going to shine brightest when it's all said and done? Make sure you sound off and go ahead, scan that QR code. You can also use the hashtag VCT as well as VALORANT Champions. We'd love to hear from you. As always, we feature your stuff on the broadcast, so have fun with it. But coming up today is our first elimination matches of champs. And it's going to be Sentinels taking on FunPlus Phoenix. And then we're going to see Crew Visa taking on Billy Gaming. There's a possibility that we could be sending home 2 Chinese teams. We could be sending home 2 America's teams. It's, man, crazy stuff here. Crazy that, Sentinels, the team that started this season off so amazingly.
I mean, winning kickoff, winning Madrid, and now they're in a first-round elimination game where I think there's a very, very good chance that FPX win it. I think you could even consider them favored in some ways.
I 100% agree with that. I think right now Sentinels have a major issue, which is them trying to correct their own game plans, their own compositions, and they're also going to be forced to adapt to a lot of the craziness that, listen, FPX pull out some odd comps that are going to force you to adapt on the fly to what you do. You can't solve solve that unless you've solved the first part of the equation, which is your own game plans, your own stuff actually being up to scratch. So I'm a little bit worried for SEN. I had all hope coming into this event for them, but yeah, I'm starting to get concerned.
Yeah. FPX have got to be feeling so hyped too, seeing Trey succeed and make it into playoffs. This does really feel like the breakout event for the Chinese region, and what a better way to prove that than if FPX were to eliminate a Masters champion today.
Yeah, incredible times indeed in the world of Valorant esports. Well, ahead of champs though, let's go ahead and tone shift a little bit here. We sat down with Cruz, Shy, and Kesnet to test how well these two guys know each other on and off of the stage. It's time for Duo Cues.
Hola a todos, soy Dre, estoy aquí con Shy y Kesnet de Crew Visa y hoy vamos a jugar un juego a ver qué tanto se conocen los dos. Las reglas son simples, les voy a dar una pregunta y lo que tienen que hacer es responder lo que respondería el otro. Entonces Shy responde como si fuera Kesnet y Kesnet responde como si fuera Shy. ¿Listos? La primera pregunta es, ¿cuál es el mejor jugador al que se han enfrentado? Lo pienso mucho.
Yo tengo que decir lo que él piensa.
Sí. Pensé que será fácil.
O sea, yo respondo como Kesnet.
Listos. 3,
Yo respondo como Shy.
2, 1. Aspas. Aspas. ¿Están de acuerdo los dos?
O sea, yo de eso sí, no sé si él...
¿Sí?
Sí. Es Aspas igual. Bueno, ahora nos vamos a la segunda pregunta.
Yo puse hasta las comillas,
Era en portugués y todo. Bueno,
para que entendieran.
nos vamos a la segunda pregunta. Si no fueran un jugador profesional, ¿qué serían?
Shy.
Yo ya sé.
Ok. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A ver la respuesta. Futbolista, deportista. O sea, en el mismo tema. Futbolista, Kesnet.
No sé. No sé. Igual puede ser, si igual me gustaba a mí jugar a la pelota.
Estaba en las
Y
cadetes.
El Shy deportista así hace bien todo, así que...
Sí, no, sí, yo hubiera hecho algo del deporte.
Deporte.
100%.
Algo de deporte. ¿Y fútbol?
Yo fui específico.
Yo antes era cadete.
Yo fui
pero ahora soy
específico.
malísimo.
Porque me acuerdo que dijo que era cadete de... Y que era futbolista. Así que por eso puse eso.
Aprendí algo de Kesnet el día de hoy. Bueno, siguiente pregunta. Ahora, ¿cuál es su skin favorita?
¿Pero de qué? ¿De Vandal o cómo?
Skin favorita en general.
Skin favorita. 5,
Espera, déjame pensar.
4,
Déjame pensar.
3,
No.
2. Pero ya fue.
No, ya sé.
Ya esto es Shy.
Espérate.
Cuchillo dragón.
No.
¿Cómo se llama? O sea, ¿no?
¿Y Kesnet? A ver.
RGX, Araxi, no sé. Carambit. No.
¿Qué son estas respuestas?
Sí, o sea, a mí me gusta, pero yo al Chai siempre lo veo con ese cuchillo.
¿Es el cuchillo del dragón?
O sea, el Ender Flame.
Sí, pero creo que ahora mismo
No lo uso.
lo cambié. ¿No te
¿Justo
acordás?
ahora?
¿No te acordáis que todos los días te decía otro?
Sí.
Que era la...
Pero yo tampoco tengo... O sea, es que esto es difícil porque nadie tiene skin favorita, yo creo.
Pero dices que Shai sí le dio a la de al Prime.
No. Sí,
O sea, ninguno. Bueno,
No.
eso es todo lo que tenemos de este juego. Muchas gracias y de vuelta con ustedes.
I love that. Fun fact, we just had to trim it down because Shy took way too long to answer that last question. Dan was having none of that. I absolutely love it. All right, well, we'll see Crew later on, but let's go ahead and get into our first match of the day. Let's talk about Sentinels now. Masters Madrid champs, right? And they're already in a situation where... they're up for elimination, Bren.
The fall-off needs to be studied if they end up going out here, genuinely.
Let's get our best scientists on it.
Yeah, because it's kind of egregious, I think, as well. I mean, I can understand the limitations and the trials that this kind of year provided. The fact that the schedule was quite condensed as well. A lot of teams are finding it a bit of a struggle, I think, as well, to kind of bounce back after attending an event at the beginning of the year. But now is the time to turn up. This is what the entire year is for at the back of your minds. Yes, you've lifted that trophy, but you have to turn up now. And the trouble is with SEN, I still want to hold out hope, but we've only seen such a small sample size still of them. Like, they've only been, you know, getting absolutely obliterated in maps. We haven't seen too much in any capacity other than the fact that we know they can't play this specific deadlock Cypher composition on Ascent. We know that they haven't really put too much thought into that, or as much work, I suppose, and they don't want to throw it all away at the end of the day. But I still want to hold out hope, but I am so damn worried for them because of all the reasons that we were saying earlier about FPX. They will force you to adapt to them, and you can't do that unless you are completely concrete with your own game plan.
And even if they win this FPX game, they have to play Gen.G, who they lost to in that opening match, who they've played multiple times throughout this year in the Champs Final previously. It is maybe the most impossible chance for SEN to make it out of groups here.
I'm tired of this negativity. All right, I'm gonna pump out and put some copium into the bloodstream.
Let's see it.
All right, Sentinels lost to Gen.G in the upper finals. They came back stronger, right? So they took a losing experience and turned it into a winning one before. What's to say they can't do it again?
Genuinely, I think that you're on the right track with this, because a lot of people are asking them to give up on specific compositions that they're running and go back to the old stuff. I don't think you can do that. I think you're throwing away weeks of preparation at that point. The best thing you can do...
You think even with Ascent, where they could just play default comp?
Yeah, I think so, because the default comp, even though it's a default comp and everybody knows what comp it is, actually running that in a very good way, fluid way, with set strats, proactive defense plays is very difficult. And I think that what they should do is build upon what they've already learned and hopefully rectify it, and hopefully maybe even just dodge the maps where those issues lie.
I do want to talk about some of the woes specifically of that deadlock comp. I have a telestrator of their Ascent versus Gen.G, and I want to start off with what the community was dragging them for. Some of the rounds that I think the deadlock utility didn't really do much. This round we're going to start off on SEN's attacking side, and they're setting up for a basic A split. You see there's going to be two players, excuse me, as the machinery explodes on top of me, just like they did in this match. They're going to be throwing in this net. And normally this is kind of an added piece into the puzzle, right? You're going to be putting in a grab net there on top of the default paranoia that's coming into the site. You're going to have a dart landing. You have all these tools, and the deadlock only helps. But the issue of this round is coordination. There goes that net, but look where the rest of the SEN players splitting through Cat are. They haven't even made it out yet. Now they'll swing into Munchkin. Munchkin absolutely cooks both of these guys. And as you look at the minimap, okay, this guy is netted on Gen, but the trades aren't coming in time. Well, this guy is sitting in prison. These players haven't made it through the smoke. These players haven't made it out, and the utility ends up being useless. Here's another round, just a little bit further on. In this exact same half. Similar thing, set up for a very basic thing, right? We have 3 players in mid, we have 1 on each extremity. This is the default of all default. And what's the biggest goal of your default? Break utility, fade out where you're going to go at the end. And one of the biggest pieces of that is to get rid of this Killjoy alarm bot and set up for these splits. But as we see in just a second here, the Shock Dart is going to miss out on breaking that, which is fine. That happens from time to time. You see there, it's a little bit off the mark and doesn't actually break it. But now they should still be set up. They can scale up, they can split off of things, and they're using one of their big tools here. The barrier net is going to block off people who would normally be flooding through spawn. You can also use it back here to stop people from pushing out there. But look how early they're using this piece of utility. 105 on the clock, and as we just speed through the rest of this round, look where SEN is on this minimap. No one's scaling up through mid. Alarm bot still not broken. It's 20 seconds later at this point. 25 seconds, and at the very end of this round, finally, they're setting up to go for the split. But it's been 30 seconds, and that utility has timed out, and they're just going to go into the meat grinder of this round. Alarm bot is broken. They're walking into a crossfire. They all die, and the utility is just finding them absolutely nothing. But I think more than anything, it's the fundamentals that were an issue. This is now a look at their defensive side. Gen.G hit a sick knife to start all the utils offline, so SEN make the smart call. They fall back to try and play into a retake on this round, and they're up a man, great position. But then the way they chose to do this, I think, is a little bit troubling. Look, every single one of the players from Sentinels is grouping through market. No one is using any other avenue to go back through spawns, even try and get a reflank idea going in. And Gen.G have an excellent setup here. They'll break the door, and this is just ridiculous. You can't help that, but that's fine. It's a 4v4 still. We're still in a winning position. Now comes the retake, and Meteor, look at this sneaky guy. Gets into a nasty spot here. And quite honestly, the SEN fundamentals, their team fighting was just not as good as Gen.G's in this match. They're going to fight their way out, and Gen.G swings forward, Cloudburst, all these players teeing off and own them. And really quickly, this last round, we're also seeing a disconnect between players. We have 2 anchors on A, the hits coming in. Cypher's going to go towards Hell. Omen 10s is going to play back Gen. When you're in these positions, the name of the game is coordination between the anchors and finding one fight to isolate and take when you're getting split on. And from these positions, the best thing to do is fight towards main. You're both swinging out together. You're taking that duel. Part of it's innate, part of it is micro comms. But as we watch this go, you see Tens, watch him on the map. He's jiggling left. He looks like he's setting up for this fight. You have Cypher there as well. They're in the position to do it. He swings wide, tucks in. Now Cypher swings. Cypher dies alone. And then Tens is swinging back the other way. And it's all on its own. Zekin peaks on timing. He dies too. And, well, the deadlock wasn't great. The crux of the matter of this game for me was the fundamentals and the synergy between the players being nowhere close to the level Genji was playing at.
Yeah. They're cooked, chat.
Yeah, that was the thing that we were praising them for in the beginning of the season. The coordinated pushes, the retakes, oh my God, everything was working out so well. And it does feel like they've kind of lost a little bit of that magic that they had at the beginning of the year. Hopefully they can find it on this stage here today, because if they don't, well, you're cooked pretty much. So ahead of today's elimination matchup, we had Yinsu caught some words with Sassy to get his thoughts ahead of this match.
I'm now joined by Sassy from Sentinels. Welcome back, Sassy. Now, in times past, a lot of people kind of consider Brazil as the wildcard region, the underdogs, and I think players like you were the reason that people started to kind of really take them as serious contenders and respect the talent pool. And I think that might be a similar theme going on with the SEN region right now. So is there anything that you can maybe relate to the experience they're going through? And how important is it, you think, to not to underestimate these players?
I think they're kind of the same spot that we were before in Brazil, you know, like they are the underdogs and they need to prove themselves. And I know now they're feeling like really motivated because Tracy Sports won, you know, G2 almost got beat by EDG. So I know they're going to come with all the force that they have against us. And, you know, all I can say is I respect them. It's going to be a hard match. And yeah, that's it.
It's going to be a great match. I can't wait to see it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, of course, one bright spot in that series was Sassy, and he performed incredibly for the squad.
Hey, and he's talking about China's breakout year. Brazil's breakout year ended with him winning champions with Loud, one of the 4 players who could go back-to-back, but it is going to be tough. However, this game, I mean, he was rolling back the years. This is the best form we've seen him in ages.
And I think if Sassy stays into this form and still has that veteran presence as well, I'm going to throw out a little bit of more hope, I think, for any SEN fans, is the fact that they've done this before. They've thought the hardest possible path to victory. They've done it in the past. Yeah. They've literally done it for Madrid. They've done it multiple times, playing the most amount of matches to even make it through some scenarios, at kickoff, for example. Yeah. So they've done the hard path. They have that experience. They know that it's not over just yet. They're not, I don't think, going to like flounder and just fall apart at the final hour.
Gotta remember too, there are a lot of veterans on that stage, guys who've been in the game for a super long time. If there's a squad that can dig themselves from, you know, the mental prison that they might find themselves in here, surely it would be a combination of these 5 guys. Well, look, let's go ahead though and move on to the other side of the stage, to their opponents, FPX. And Brennan, you got to talk about something you posted the other day, Papa, because you said if FPX win bind, I will oil up and wrestle in the streets of Seoul.
In my defense, FPX, I thought their best map was Abyss. They lost it. They were heading into bind with an untested composition. It looked all over the place.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing their comp. It was wild at the time when they unleashed it.
I think it's still wild.
It's still wild.
Yeah.
I still don't really see the vision in it as much. I can kind of see it. I can maybe defend it, make an argument for it. But I thought it was just cooked. And then they won on bind.
That's cool, but are you oiling up?
Am I oiling up?
How about this? Let's go ahead and send it over to Yinsu.
What did he do?
By with Autumn.
Don't tell me he wrestled
to hear what he
someone.
had to say. It's going to get oily.
I'm now standing by with Autumn here from FPX. Now, you guys have been playing really, really well, but for some reason there's still some doubters out there. Do you feel like maybe if you could eliminate Sentinels today, that would silence everybody that don't believe in you?
Of course, 100%. And as artist Shen would say, VCT CN 是最厉害的赛区。
我也觉得最厉害的. He said that VCTN is the best region, am I right? Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Thank you very much.
So, Bren, how did you get any takers?
Nobody took me up on the offer. A lot of people.
14,001 is cheap. That's like $10 US.
A lot of the people did comment how cheap it was. And listen, what can I say? I'm a cheap guy. Listen, I'm planning out the way ahead once esports eventually fails and crumbles at some point in the distant future. Dystopian, the water wars start kicking off.
That's right.
The oil fighting is gonna go crazy. I'm gonna be like getting into the ring, carving out a little space, a little niche for myself.
I have this visual of my head and you like in a Thunderdome and you just oiling yourself up.
You're on it.
And you and Sideshow just going at one another.
Listen, nobody wrestled me, but I hope that at least pays off the take there. And I need to apologize to FPX as well. I wasn't familiar with your game, and I think that they do. This team lives and breathes by their craziness in terms of the compositions that they play, particularly on Bind as well. And there's multiple examples of
And I'm going to be honest, if there was a team to cook slumping Sentinels, it would be FPX and their crazy comps and crazy ideas. I think when we were looking at those rounds that I was illustrating, it was all about fundamental issues with Sentinel's team play. And I think FPX is the ultimate test of fundamentals, and this Bind comp proved it. They weren't winning because the comp had the good things you need on Bind, plant denial, strong post plants, good stall utility. No, because they had two contact agents who were fighting constantly on off angles and absolutely cooking Team Heretics on their attack.
I think you're completely correct to that take as well, where they force you to really shore up the fundamentals in terms of how you're trading each other out, but also the adaptability that I was talking about and have been talking about this whole time with this team is that when you throw an orthodox comp, if it's not the usual mirror matchup that teams are used to, they're going to struggle. And if their own game plans aren't even shored up, if you're not even confident in the way that you're playing the comp yourselves, that is not even a focus for you.
And I'm going to be
struggle
honest,
to adapt.
We got to let tens out. I've had enough of this structured tens.
Yeah.
He's got to be a maniac.
Jet again?
Fire with fire. I don't actually want that. Please don't do that. Just play some good
I do have a
Valorant.
question, because you guys are talking about like the unorthodox comp, but like when you explain it like that, like you're fighting forward, you're playing off angles. That just sounds like a fundamentally different way to approach something that has been established.
They have such a high tolerance for risk compared to other teams. And I think that's something that we see in Sen's gameplay. They're lacking that risk. They're lacking that kind of individual play, those moments that we talk about, that a guy like Ayoung, I think, exemplifies. Sen, on the other hand, is playing very timid. They're trying super hard to play optimally, to play their structured percentage Valorant, and in that way, I think they're losing out on that extra percentage that FPX exemplifies.
Yeah, they are very not risk-averse at all with their compositions and some of the plays that they do. And that's not, like you said, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because sometimes the unexpected play is the best play, even if it's risky and might end up punishing you in the end.
You have to unexpect the expected.
And it works. It's still stupid, but it works.
Okay, so I wasn't going to go with that one, but I think that these kind of tests that FPX throw teams are the reason why they're the region that at times in the past has, the team, I should say, that have come the closest out of China at really upsetting a lot of teams and pushing them on specific maps with their ideas, because a lot of teams are not used to playing against unorthodox compositions. The unexpected and adaptation over the course of a map. It's very difficult in the moment to really just take a look at the agent select, you see the composition, you're like, okay, well, we don't have a timeout for a while. We're going to figure out immediately what the strengths, the pros, the cons of this composition are, dissect it, and fight around it. And they might not even play into those strengths as well. So,
And honestly, I always said if it's stupid and it works, like, I don't think FPX is stupid. I think that they go off and they make individual plays that make them look silly when they don't work. But I really think that these comps, while they are off kilter and they definitely aren't optimal, have thought behind them, have clear reasons to work that really takes, especially these Western teams, off guard.
Yeah, and hey, you know what? If it works for you, it works for you. And clearly FPX have found some kind of mojo that they are working with here. But earlier on, though, we spoke with Ayoung about the loss to Heretics as well as his admiration for Tens in this Omen player moment.
Hello， 大家好，我是 FPX 的阿阳。其实输掉比赛我挺遗憾的，因为今天又是差一口气赢下这场比赛，所以其实挺伤感的。经过这一次的交手之后，我觉得他们的每个人信心就涨了很多嘛。然后我们的指挥博尔林他很能够应对到对面的一些想做什么、想前压或者说想回防之类的，所以我们都很能够得心应手的，就是知道他们这些。我觉得其实也不是 TH 比上一次变弱了，我觉得其实就是我们FPX变强了。
pushes them back there, and the plant should now come in safely in the corner. A foothold for Team Heretics, but Light trying to take advantage of the chaos. He's gone straight in with a blast back and got 2-3, lighting them up.
非常荣幸能够在下一场比赛面临马德里世界冠军，这一次的对战我会非常珍惜。我觉得 Sentinels 队里面最强的就是 Tens， 他在很早之前我经常用他的准心以及灵敏度，他也是我那个时候学习的对象。但是我觉得这一次我们对他做出针对的点就是尽量不要一对一去跟他打吧。我觉得我们做好补枪协同性提高一些的话，其实他很难发挥出自身100%的实力。
Smart man.
I too have also learned and realized you don't take 10s one-on-one in a gunfight.
No.
You know, I tried it.
I did. I beat him in a game of darts once, though.
Oh, really?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Was he good?
Now, I can't go into details as to how I beat him.
Okay.
But let's just say he wasn't on his best form.
Would you say you were a little fraudulent?
It was 100% fraudulent and 100% a lot of luck. But I tell you what's not fraudulent. A lot of these takes that we're about to be seeing soon with this next game.
That's right, because it's time. Segue for Fan or Fraud. Bren, you do this game in Americas. If you tune into America's show, you'll see us do Fan or Fraud, where Bren goes and scours the internet. His favorite thing to do in the whole wide world. He likes to look through fan tweets.
I hated every minute of prepping for this segment.
Find all the best tweets.
I mean, the SEN fans, the walls are
now,
salt.
I'll tell you, I pulled a lot of SEN real-life fan takes. And here's the game if you want to play along at home as well. I'll explain the rules. There's going to be a fake take, which I have cooked up, and there's going to be a real fan comment online. And these guys on the desk and you at home have to decide which one's the real one, which one's the fake one. Yeah, you're not very good at it. Now, I will say right now, there is an aura of just dismay and doom around the SEN camp, and 90% of the comments I pulled could not be used on broadcast. So I'll throw that out there. We managed to pull the ones that we could use.
Hey, Sentinels fans, chill out, dog. I don't know,
listen,
like relax.
Chill out a little bit. It's a video game, you know. Maybe your team wins, maybe they lose. I don't know. But
I don't know.
We can run it up anyway. Let's pull up the first slide. Let's get through this one ASAP, and we'll start with this one here.
Oh, Lord.
We've got Sen City Rise Up on more copium than my AP bio exam. And B is, I'm telling you, Zeltis is as cracked as he is jacked. I saw him at 7-Eleven the other day buying Red Bull and adult diapers. I asked him what the diapers were for, and he said they contain my full power so I don't completely poo on these kids. then he buddy hopped out the door while inspecting the Sen Classic. I had to change a few words out because they were curse words.
And you had to change them all out because it was a fraudulent tweet.
Which one do you think is fraud? You think B is fraud?
I think B is fraud. But
what if I did my research into the American education system?
No,
the AP is stuff that you take in high school ahead of time.
What does AP stand for?
I don't know, but it's the stuff you take in high school so that you don't have to take it in college.
Yeah.
That's actually, he's not wrong.
So I've done my research for this. Are you still sticking with B?
I'm still sticking with B.
You're sticking with B?
I'm sticking with B.
Okay, well, let's reveal it. And it turns out you guys were correct. I made it up. I made it. How did you know I made that up?
Also, the other thing that got me was the capitalized R and B in Red Bull.
Yes, I'm too sponsor pilled.
Yeah, people don't capitalize brand names.
I'm way too sponsor
Red Bull, let's sponsor brand.
We love capital R, capital B Red Bull. But
I love Red Bull. You keep paying the bill, just keep it up. I'll drink 20 of them. Probably not. But
don't do that.
So second slide.
He meant to.
Do not underestimate our bold King Sassy, the comptroller of Sen City. He is pulling all of the strings and nothing gets past him.
Comptroller, I think is a real word.
Writes the checks and he cashes to M. And then B is, please Sentinels, my favorite team, please win. I bought your team capsule.
Well,
people say bundle, not capsule. B is a fraud.
B is the fraud?
Yes.
I'm going to say B is a fraud because Sassy, I am also a part of the Bald Kingdom, so Sassy's my king.
All right, let's get into it. You want to reveal it, production?
Yeah, let's
see. And the fraudulent is, it's A. You both wrong.
We've been cooked.
I
can't believe you used the word comptroller.
That was comptroller. So production actually handed me that
just tried to Google the definition, and I'm still trying to figure it out.
Next one.
Next one. Okay, A is, we're so cooked, 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 we're so cooked. And B is, you must consume more hopium. Clearly you are not a good enough fan. Parenthesis, it's over.
They're both real.
They're both real? You think they're both real?
No, I think A is fraud.
You think A is fraud? Okay, let's reveal the answer. And the answer is... Boom, A was the fraudulent one.
Do I win?
Do you win? Yeah, I think you got more results.
Yeah.
Now, what do you win? I don't know.
You know what we win?
You get the position of comptroller of the desk.
Yeah.
And I will comptroller our way to the results of our MasterCard fan poll. Earlier we asked you which region, will have the most teams in playoffs, and y'all said Pacific.
Wow.
I can see that. DRX and Genji.
DRX, Genji, that's actually yes, correct. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
They clearly thought about that more than I did.
Don't sleep on Talon.
Yeah, don't sleep on Talon. They're a crazy team.
Making it out.
Hey, I'm just
it's
saying
not impossible, though.
I'm just saying don't sleep on him. You know
I'm not sleeping on anyone anymore.
Who you got for winning today for this first match?
For the first one, SEN.
SEN?
FPX. I think they're charged up after Trace's upset win. This is the event of China, and I just can't see SEN recovering from this slump in time.
But SEN have been in this spot before. They can do it again.
All right, well, let's go ahead and start the show. Shall we bring out our teams? Day 7 of Champions Seoul starts right now.
I think my journey here has definitely been a roller coaster. Just a lot of turbulence up and down.
Revenge for the grand finals at Masters Madrid. I think they outclassed Sentinels today.
But we're here now, and that's all that matters.
J like the letter, I'm making several waves. I know the mission is same. Never gon' fumble it. I get the bag and I run with it. Gunning it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it.
Take one, 10's close up. I mean, it feels really good to be back at Champs. It's been a while for me.
Yeah, I played the first one, right?
Yeah, that's it.
How did it feel to win Champs? Like, the feeling like winning Champs is like, oh, like I did everything possible and I achieved it, you know? That feeling like, oh my God, like the weight come out from my shoulder, like really heavy. It's nice.
Gustav, I want to win a Champs. Yeah. Teach me. Show me your win.
I'm telling you, every time you win, you get addicted to it. Yeah. I feel like you guys got a taste after you won Masters. And you know how that feels. It's always like that. You always think that one is enough, but it's never enough.
It's never enough. Never. You always gotta win. You always chase the field.
Yeah.
Are you ready to win another one?
Yeah, I am. Are you ready?
I need to win my first. And then, when we get to finals of the Champs, I'm gonna have Faker come out and sell the SEN bundle. Facing FPX, I know they always play like wonky comps. They play very confident and together.
我觉得 Sentinels 队里面最强的就是 Tens， 他在很早之前，我经常用他的准心以及灵敏度。这次的对战我会非常珍惜。
Being able to live in the moment is the most important thing. If we start having fun, then good luck, then good luck.
Fnatic 13-4. BLG, of course, it doesn't get that much easier after this.
就今天，我觉得我们虽然输给 Fnatic 输得很惨，但是我们会从中就是获取很多经验吧，然后把这些经验用来在对抗客户上面。
El estilo de Billy siento que es muy parecido al de nosotros, son un equipo bastante agresivo, tiene un estilo muy de ir para adelante, como comer info y solamente ir para adelante. Y siento que es bastante divertido jugar contra equipos así y que gane el mejor.
我觉得可能一条命对于我们来说更刺激一点，然后我们稍微犯一点失误就会被对方抓住，所以如果你们能跟 Fnatic 打得一样好的话，那我们确实该回家了。但可惜你们不是。
FPX. Sentinels.
It's our first elimination match of the day of the event. You got Sentinels and FPX, and I'll be honest, I don't know.
He's got the caddies on. That's all we can say.
Hey, maybe the vibes are good, but let's take a look at the series layout. You got Bind, Lotus, and if necessary, we'll be taking a trip over to Abyss. Bren, how do you feel?
I hope we get that map 3, genuinely. I need to see Sen's Abyss. I need to see them tested against an FPX team that, honestly, they got a comp that's cooking. I think it's one of the best maps in their pool, despite the fact that they ended up losing it to Heretics. And their binds, they are clearly opting into. They think that this comp has legs. I think that, honestly, a lot of it is carried by that raw firepower and teamwork that they have, rather than the actual ideas of the comp. But at the end of the day, it's an FPS game. And sometimes
change it up again, though?
Sometimes the gunplay is all that
I don't think
matters.
they're going to change the comp. There's not enough turnaround time to do something like that, in my opinion. And I think they are committed to that idea. For Sentinels on map number 1, I think they can figure out this map, and I think this was predictable that they were going to be playing Bind. On their attack, I think the number one thing is not getting caught off guard by the aggro contact plays. FPX has 2 contact agents, the Yoru and the Chamber, that can take a fight, teleport away, and disengage. So the biggest thing is Sentinel's attack fundamentals need to be on point. If they can get extremity control, then get into the sites, I don't think this FPX comp actually has a lot of tools to stall plant and play the retake. And I think FPX might end up on the back foot there.
Yeah, I hard agree with that. I think a little cheeky B-long take as well on the attack side, maybe a slow take, a shower so you can TP pivot would, honestly, I think dismantle a lot of aspects of this composition. But we'll see if Sen ends up sticking with their old comp. They're going to switch it up ever so slightly. But is that just the rolls instead? I'm not too sure, but still, it is the standard comp from what we're used to of teams playing, and this comp is good for a reason. It's the meta for a reason with a lot of teams playing.
We haven't seen them play it since week 4. They were trying out the deadlock on this map. They've moved away from that to now play just the default 100 Thieves comp here. This is the match that Sentinels, I think they need to win map 1. Come out with strength. If this is a close, drawn-out affair against FPX, it's going to be hard to tell if this team is really back. They're champions for a reason. Sasi's one of the 4 players who has won one before, but FPX have to feel so powered up watching the other teams from CN succeed, watching Trace make it to playoffs as a number 1 seed, and playing against one of their idols in TENS today.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into map 1, shall we? We're going to send it over to your casters, making their Champion Seoul debut. It's my boys, Doug and Baby Bay.
Thanks so much, Handsome. We've got a banger of a match for you guys teed up right now. Dre, there isn't a ton of story between these 2 teams, but when you think about the individual path that they've taken to get here, it's vastly different. FPX seems like they're on the up and up. Meanwhile, the Sentinels feel like they're on a tragic tumble.
Yeah, I mean, they started off great in the year, and then it was just like a slow burn where they slowly just faded. And FPX, yeah, you're 100% right. They've looked great, especially internationally, taking Heretics the distance, not only in Shanghai, but here as well in Seoul. So this is going to be a banger match so far. And honestly, this Chamber, Autumn, he was so good with the Operator and that Headhunter last time around. So expect big things out of this guy.
He's already on the move. Look at that aggressive line he's taking.
Super aggressive, trying to get ahead of that Viper. But poised so far from Sentinels.
With Berlin over his shoulder, he creeps up further and further. A couple of warning shots. Takes a quick step back. Meanwhile, Sentinels, as you mentioned, on the attack side of this opening best of 3 with a bit of a more tempered approach.
Yeah, and I think they understand that, you know, FPX's history on the defensive sides of almost every single map have been a weakness for them. So if they don't drop early like that and give FPX an inch, they might be able to get a big lead here.
Seems like Sasi's making a little bit of noise here. He's dropped the Hunt, he's dropped the Prowler, a lot of noise B, but it's actually the first kill going the way of FPX towards A.
You can't do anything about that.
No, not at all. Berlin still causing problems. Hasn't taken a lick of damage. Now he's taking a step back, but Autumn is on the prowl. He's on the flank. He's behind him. As Berlin once again, 1 bullet, 1 kill. All members of Sentinel starting to crumble, starting to fall apart. This pistol seems to be going the way of the defense. I mean, they're completely surrounded, Dre. They've got every single corner with threat. FPX gets the first.
Absolutely constricted into U-Haul and Short A that entire round. Autumn, he showed some pop shots. Short A, like you said, flanked around showers, but it was Berlin who was the difference maker, spamming through the smoke at the beginning. He smelled something fishy in the waters. Something was amuck. Look at that. As soon as that Viper wall comes up, he's just spamming to hopefully get that lurk, and he does it. And this flank from Autumn, I mean, this is the power of the Chamber. And already, you're going to see that he has an outlaw in the mix of things. That weapon can be so deadly in the right hands. And he was looking very good on the operator, so I imagine he's going to be hitting some nice shots here. And for Sentinels, yeah, it's been rough. It's been kind of disastrous, right? They haven't won a map in, what, how long?
It's been over a month. They're 0-6 on their last 3 series. Their last map win was against Cloud9 back in like July, early July.
That's unbelievable, right? They're Madrid winners.
It's just been such a fall from grace. And it seems like that's just a story for Sentinels, right? Like, they get to Madrid, that's their peak, then they turn their attention toward trying to qualify for Shanghai. Obviously, they don't make it. On the other side of Shanghai, they're looking really good, like 5-0 or 4-0, something like that through stage 2. And then again, we're back on this downward trajectory.
Yeah. It's been super rough for them, and this start has been super rough as well, but let's see what they can do. It's some faint pressure right now from TenZ towards B Long. No one to reciprocate inside of FPX.
And again, I think a lot of discipline out from FPX. You're absolutely right.
I mean, you said it, right? You said when you watched FPX play against Heretics, you said I think they figured out their defensive sides.
It seemed like it, yeah.
And so far, I like the way that they're taking this approach, not taking too many risks.
Prowler's out. It's going to push Life off the line with a Guardian. But he's just able to take just a little bit of a step back to reinforce position. Now with heals being dug in, they're going to have to deal with what Sentinels are doing. Zekken and TenZ are getting a couple, but again, the superior weaponry out from the defensive side continues to cause problems. John QT and Zelsis, the only 2 that remain. Yeah, they got the spike down. I mean, Zelsis has a molly. John has a spit. There might be a shot at this. I just don't know if there's going to be enough delay.
Super tough. I mean, that molly does delay for quite a bit, but that Omen Paranoia was too strong. Young cleans it up, but honestly, a very nice approach from Sentinels. Getting the spike planted, getting damage done. Could have definitely been worse for wear for them.
Yeah, for sure. That could have gone infinitely worse. But I mean, I do think you mentioned it. Berlin hit a really nice Paranoia as soon as they tried to retake control of Showers, and that was really all they needed. And yes, there were a couple of nice shots out from Sentinels, but the utility at the end and the numbers advantage that the defensive side had was just too much.
Most definitely. And that approach from Sentinels was so slow. Uh-oh. Already.
We didn't make it very far.
Well, I mean, while we're in this tech pause, I can talk about that slow approach that Sentinels just did.
Take your time, because life is reclined on the stage right now. So, I mean, be as verbose as you want. We're paid by the word, so by all means, take your time.
If only that was true, Doug. If only that was true. We'd be millionaires up here right now. But yeah, that slow approach from Sentinels, it was definitely a cool thing to see, and it allowed them to just put doubt in the minds of FPX and the way that they approached the site, putting 2 smokes down and then actually getting those kills in back sight. That's something that's really hard to do when you have just a classic. So now in future rounds, they can be confident in that fight back sight.
And we'll see how that continues to play out. I think you mentioned, oh, we're right back into the action. Nice, that wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
Hopefully a good sign of things to come. You mentioned the slow approach from Sentinels, but I want to go back to what we were talking about in the previous round, and yes, it's only been 2, but I really like how disciplined FPX have been off of the feints that Sentinels has tried showing.
Yeah, they're definitely trying their hardest to not give away any freebies. That's been the demise of them in the past.
Yeah, Orb scooped up early in the round. And again, silence across the map.
Yeah, it's so quiet. Only an Omen smoke being used. Orb was gathered, though, from Life. Pretty good. It will be a contact play here in B Long. Second will be the forefront. Along with TenZ, the 1-2 punch.
Got to be cautious here. An Outlaw, and then you've got 3 rifles, and then just a Sheriff. So if FPX are able to convert this bonus, this snowball would be huge.
Yeah, this would be massive, and it would be so detrimental to SEN, who I feel like are such a team that is based off of momentum.
Young's moving. He's on the hunt. Sasi looked like he was a bit asleep at the wheel for a second there.
Yeah, he definitely got caught sleeping at the wheel right there. Maybe looking at the mini-map, but it's a walk down. Oh my goodness.
What in the world was that? That was so fast.
Nasty stuff. A lot of players there just go for the double Outlaw, but the switch to the Headhunter, it's instantaneous.
I had bad flashbacks of like the chamber meta.
Oh, 100%.
And so now Sentinels off of that, it seemed like they made a little bit of noise. Hey, again, trying to threaten the opposite side of the map, but now quick rotate back B. You've got Lysor who's here. You still have a Trip that's currently down. But the wall goes up, utility through, Zekin trying to find some space off the satchel, 13 seconds left. They're going to have to get there very quickly. Lysor's going to get another. I don't know that there's a way for John to do this. There's no time.
It's done. I mean, all off of the back of Autumn. What a monster. Solo walking down. I mean, forget it. You don't need a trip when you already take out 2 players.
I think Autumn did a lot of damage at the beginning of the round, but I think Lysor's got to have his praises sung there. He was on the site by himself, if I'm not mistaken, was able to deal with Zekin satcheling out. He got a spit kill with the other one. I don't even remember who it was on, but this is very dangerous for Sentinels.
Yeah, I mean, losing the bonus, it's a terrible feeling. But somehow, FPX just take it away, and Sentinels, they will have another buy. I mean, these shots were crazy. But yeah, so there is another buy right now from Sentinels. Very interesting. 3 Bulldogs on the field. And an ult play, that's why.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of this round. The success of the round is being hinged upon whether or not they can find value with the Thrash. Ayang's been detained, tries jumping around to save his life, and cannot, as Zekin gets 2 on the round. They've got the site. They should be able to get the spike down.
And that's upgrades now, too. No one here to thwart the plant. Lil Bro will get it, that spike planted.
Spike planted.
And it's going to be a late flank from Autumn. Do the rest of the members of FPX try to go first here? Try to make a distraction, allow him to find a timing?
Yeah, with his ult, maybe. That's a tough thing you're going to have to deal with. Tens is holding the line, too.
Wow.
Zekin's got 3 on the round. Lysor had no shot there. And what do you do in a situation like that? Autumn on the second swing will not find success. Life's doing his best to keep this round going their way, and he cannot. Sentinels are on the board.
Yeah. Saucy in the middle of that retake. He just jumps out for Zekin to get freebies. And Tens as well in the beginning of that round, that Thrash, it got value. It hit a guy in Cubby the entire time, so that was the cue to just speed up A short. And that's why they forced into the round. All of a sudden, they're right back into this thing, building up their own economy. And very important kills for Zekin to start getting some momentum. He had a very rough series against Gen G.
Yeah, he did.
He was sitting at the bottom.
He was like -17 across both maps. Just something very uncharacteristic. But honestly, I mean, we've got Autumn with the op online. He's holding a deep angle down B long, but all of the noise, all of the firepower is towards A.
Yeah, showstopper used as well. He's going to pop over the truck. Doesn't see anybody.
No, there's a lot of respect and a lot of space being given from FPX right now. It's really nice. They're starting to dance around this push and pull of dealing with the aggression, dealing with the firepower of Sentinels while also maintaining the space.
Right now, Autumn, he's so worried that there could be somebody in showers, but there's nobody there. Sentinels are playing all A short, all market area.
Again, the op will be a difficult thing to try to retake around it. The spike has been going off for a little while here. That Dizzy tagged, what, 3?
Haunt doesn't quite connect on anybody there.
If they can't alleviate some of the showers prior U-Haul pressure, it's going to be a problem. There's still one there. Tens, beautiful timing. Ion's left to his own devices. And there's no way you survive in a situation like that.
And this is a different type of Sen. This is the old Sen that we know to dominate. They look so decisive, so much more confident. They look more comfortable. I think that's the best word I can say. They tried mixing up their compositions in the last, couple matches they played, and it just didn't go their way. Yeah, they had a little success on Lotus with the deadlock, But on this map, the last time Sen played, they were running a deadlock solo smoke Brim. It's so hard to play, especially on the defensive side, when you only have Brim smokes on the field. So easy to bait out. So I really like this change going back to that 100 Thieves composition, the double initiator. And Zekin is the type of duelist that requires teammates to help him throw utility for him to entry. This is why you saw Zekin struggle so hard on Ascent. There was no flashes for him besides Omen.
He does seem to be notably more comfortable, as the rest of the Sentinel squad does too, as you were talking about just a few moments ago. And I think as we see FPX call a timeout here early on in the first half, a lot of what we were just talking about around how Zekin he struggled tremendously against Gen G. I want to be careful because I don't think that was the reason why they lost. I think there were a lot of things that were going on that unfortunately didn't go their way. I think you look back at the last 3 matches that they've played, they've had one player go positive every single time.
Yeah.
So you've got one guy who's kind of treading water, kind of trying to stay afloat, while the rest of them are really struggling. And yeah, Zekin is unfortunately the most the most recent example of that.
Yeah.
But it has really been tough sledding for Sentinels these last couple of matches across the board.
But it looks like they finally got their foot in the door here, bringing it within 1 round with a start that was looking really dominant from FPX. I don't think FPX was ready for that force buy from Sentinels, that thrash. That was such a big call.
And it worked out.
So risky.
Take a look at the purchase for FPX here. 2 rifles and a couple of sheriffs. Heavy lean towards A. Again, Lysaurus being asked and being called upon to hold B on his own.
Yeah, these last couple rounds of Sen have won. FPX has had a stack on the wrong site. Lysaurus should call for his team now that this will be a hookah crunch.
They're trapped in there. There's no real easy way out. Reinforcements have to arrive. I mean, they have the superior weaponry, and there they go.
Whoa.
All of the other guns arriving at just the right time. Barring a kill from Autumn, this will be a flawless round from Sentinels to tie us up at 3. And I think we talked just a couple of rounds ago about the snowball that could potentially be forming on the side of FPX. Look at it for Sentinels now. They've got money forever. They've got Tenz's ult that's back online. He had it, what, 3 rounds ago? 3 rounds ago. Sasi's got his ult online as well.
Zalsis is building up towards that Brim ultimate as well, getting the spike planter right there. He might even just go for the kill here.
Yeah.
They're going to use info to try to find out where Autumn is and feed the kill to Zalsis. That's why you see him treading. He goes. Even if he dies, he still gets it. So that's a W for Zalsis.
It's now 3 ults that they're going to have.
Yeah.
While Autumn's going to do his best to hang on to this rifle.
Yeah, he wants to keep this one for sure.
The question is, does he expect Sasi around the corner? No, he doesn't. 3 on the round for the Initiator as we're tied at 3 apiece. And I think we talked a little bit about how FPX looked very comfortable. They looked aggressive at the beginning. You think about that showers push that happened from Autumn on the pistol and a couple of other things like that. Sentinels they've seemed to have figured out how to deal with that so far.
Yeah, they haven't been getting punished early on. This time their executes are way more decisive, maybe because of the supporting utility that they have, you know, the ultimates most notably.
Sure.
I mean, those can give you a lot of confidence running into sight.
Can I do it? Can I do it?
And Sasi, he's such a good LAN player, man. When it comes to champs, when it comes to these big moments, he always shows up. So much experience.
I want to mention very quickly, Autumn has another op online. I think this is the 2nd or 3rd time. We haven't seen any value with it. Meanwhile, the dump onto A is ridiculous. You've got the Nightfall, you've got the Orbital Strike, you've got everything thrown towards the site. Berlin will ultimately fall as well. And I mean, we're what, 20 seconds into the round and it's done. I mean, it's a save.
Yeah, it was the same set play that Tens did previously with that Thrash, but this time there's follow-up, right? The Fade ultimate, the Brim ultimate, they got cooked to a crisp. It was a barbecue.
There's just no way to hold on to the site when you have that much being thrown at you.
Yeah, and that's the power of this composition. There's so much utility once the execute actually comes through.
Sure.
FPX, they did a good job in the first 3 rounds of kind of dealing with that. But I mean, on pistol rounds, you don't really have the full amount that you want for the side of Sentinels. So FPX didn't really have to feel all that power. But now that they feel it, I mean, Zelsis just felt something. A little bit of a headache there, huh?
Zekin did too.
I mean, they have to save this operator, but it's going to be a full hunt. Yeah, he's so clean with the op. He had 5 op kills in the last series against Heretics, and they stole that map away.
We just saw him get 2, and again, if my memory serves me right, those are the only 2 he's had all map.
Yeah, he's had some outlaw kills, but
there's that hit again.
Yeah, that's obnoxious. The Fade ultimate into the Raise nade. The Brim ult wasn't even required, but
yeah,
why not, you know?
Adding insult to injury.
So the snowball's still in full effect for Sentinels right now.
That works. Light armor across the board for the defensive side. I mean, Ayang's ult is online. Lysaur's 1 tip away from his. And again, this intention on holding down Belong with the op. There is a little bit more presence here, though. Zalsis is close by.
Ooh. What a shot.
An elbow is all it took.
Yeah, that first jiggle.
And then, honestly, that was such a bold swing out from Autumn, too. He was past the point of his TP at that point.
I mean, you got to make something happen, right, with that operator. Him just sitting back in passive angles was not working for them in the last couple of rounds. Oh, it's picks across the board right now.
This is tough, man. This throws the attack into such a tizzy. if you're not finding success on either side of the map, you're thrown into plan C, plan D of your approach.
And you have no smokes on the field right now. Berlin took a little bit to get there, but he gets the kill. Life, he might get a third into this round. But it's Berlin to clean it all up. And that's off the back of that aggression from Autumn's operator. I mean, worst case scenario, Autumn there, like he peeks there, no one's there. He has all the info for his team. They're able to cheat over towards the A site. So I like him stepping past the TP. You have such an advantage when you're peeking riflers with an AWP. And you got to play to it.
Lysar was close by 2, if I remember correctly. So even if he does, for some reason, not win that, there's a chance for the AWP to get picked up and then, you know, kind of reset on the round. But now it's on Sentinels to try to slow things down. They're going to burn their first time out of the map and see what sort of adjustments are there. I mean, again, Autumn should have that AWP online going into the next, but for Sentinels here, we've seen them put up 4 in a row. Finally, a little bit of the bleeding has been stopped, and FPX seem to have a little bit more momentum their way. But Dre, I'd love to get your thoughts, because that felt like that worked because of picks on opposite side of the map.
Yeah, and it was on both controllers as well.
Yeah.
So the change for
the
change for SEN will probably just be, okay, let's use utility this time and just take control of either showers or take control of B-Long with utility to find out if the operator's there, because he's gonna TP away. Like when you playing against a chamber, you want to use utility to find out where he's at and just push him back. Make him use that rechargeable. And then in that window of time, that 30-second frame that you have, you can come up with a plan and formulate if you want to hit on the chamber while he doesn't have any mobility and any TP to get it to escape or whatnot. But also this timeout was mainly to ice FPX. You know, Sentinels, they won 4 in a row and they just got stopped with picks like you said. Okay, it's fine. Let's use utility, don't get first blooded, and just run into an execute. The executes of Sentinels have been unstoppable so far.
Yeah, when they've had the ults that they can kind of put together, it's been devastating. Quick note here, Autumn has repositioned. This time trying to hold the line on A short.
We saw him take the same pathing on the pistol round, and he did meet Zelsis here previously.
He's going to have a lot more to deal with here. Berlin is with him. They just had a Prowler clear out showers.
There it is. Push him back, and now you can overwhelm.
If they want to commit to it. And it seems like that's exactly what they're going to do. What a shot out from Autumn. Staying alive through the decay and through the damage and aggressively checking into another.
I mean, an absolute madman, and he gets punished for it, though. Zelsis not falling for any of those shenanigans.
Oh, it stings so down. All members from FPX rotating back towards A. And Sentinels have cut noise.
Launching smoke. And only one smoke to work with, and they decide to smoke off U-Haul, and that might be detrimental to them.
Yeah, almost getting punished up from heaven. That second smoke causing a little bit of problems. Berlin still had an angle to play around. Look at the health bars on the members of Sentinels. They're so weak.
But Tenz, he picked up that operator. He might be able to work something with this, work some magic. Some of that Tenz magic.
This smoke is interesting too. It gives them passage out if they decide that they want to flip the map, but hanging on for now. 20 seconds left in the round. A little bit of presence in U-Haul. You've got Zelsis who's starting to creep forward. Threaten on the plant. That's not the right one. Time is running short. That shot will connect, but with 10 seconds left, how much more can you do? Can you buy enough time for the spike to go down? No.
Yeah. Too many angles to look at. FPX, they basically steal that one away. That was insane, though, from Autumn and short. The fact that he even got one kill there. I mean, the poise that you have to have when all that utility is being smothered onto you and to still just be just in the zone like this. I mean, he's tethered. I mean, it's chaos on the screen. That is not an easy thing to do by any means.
No,
a lot of players crumble in that moment.
Yeah, to ignore all of the noise and
man.
to stay focused. I mean, we can have the same conversation about Ayang, who was able to track Zekin as he went, but back into the next round we go. A pit already invested down B-Long.
Yeah, and the whole purpose of this is to kind of force SEN to do what you want. They want them to lean towards either that hookah area or go towards that three-man fighting squad at A.
Yeah, and that three-man fighting squad that you were just talking about had taken a lot of space down showers. It seemed like they wanted to try to fight there early on. They don't meet a threat, but you can see what the intention is for FPX early on.
And it's so hard for Sentinels to entry into these sites knowing that you have to go against these operators. Life! Holding down showers on his own. A 2 for 1, you'll take that any day.
He almost got 3.
Mm-hmm. Celsius was able to see that smoke come, but oh my gosh, iYoung and Berlin. Little in and out, and it's TenZ all alone.
This round and the last couple of rounds, to be honest, this TenZ is, as you mentioned, 1v4 or borderline unwinnable one. The crazy thing about that, too, very quickly, we went into that round, FPX had 5 ults.
Mm-hmm.
They just obliterated Sentinels without having to invest just one. They invested life source at the beginning, but that was it.
Yeah. The ult economy has been insane for FPX, and when you're Sentinels, when you see a team has 5 ultimates, that's why you saw that slow approach in the previous round, where like they're just tapping the spike consistently. They're trying to see and bait out any type of thing. But FPX, they just held on to him. I mean, they're not going to use them unless you force them to.
They might try to go fast here. They've got a lot of presence towards A short. Zekin has bought a stinger, and he has his ult online.
You've seen Autumn in these moments, though. Oh, he's going to get punished this time.
Whoa, no! It went right past him! What a shot from Autumn! Again, delivering! Very similar hit to what we saw before. The orbital strike not finding the kill under Berlin. Takes a little bit of damage, yes, but repositions. And now Life has gone full reconnaissance.
And he saw every single member, Doug. That's why he's taking all the space on the flank. This is so nice from Life.
The problem is he's the only one playing contain here. And it seems like Sentinels are intent on rotating away.
Yeah, they're anticipating this, like a push-down hookah or something of the sort. But are they anticipating this deep of a push? All the way down B long by the fountain.
I mean, neither side is making any noise.
Oh!
That flash.
But he's
and
out.
It's a TP away. But it's just enough misdirection. Look at the pings on the minimap now.
Yeah.
Like we heard him. He's got to be around. Where is he?
It's so scary. It's a horror game.
Now 35 seconds left on the round. Sentinels seem to have chosen the right site.
30 seconds left.
Most definitely. It's all up to Life here. I don't know if he can anchor this alone. Oh, he might find the timing. Oh, he gets spotted.
Again, the only smoke has been invested. The flash is so pretty. Life gets another 2.
Spike planted.
And an Omen ultimate committed.
He was alone.
TenZ wasn't ready for that. I don't think they heard that at all.
I mean, Berlin TP'd into that. You're absolutely right. He was so far ahead of everything else. Now Celsius is left in a 1v3, able to find the first. The peek onto the second will not connect. The defuse comes through as FPX will get another.
Just absolute madmen in the server. Life, he's all alone on site. Has a nice flash lineup for himself. John QT gets caught out in the open. But the second follow-up, how are they getting away with this? The trades, the spacing is just not quite there. It's almost like Sentinels are just lining up for these guys. And look at this. Somebody needs to come out earlier there and help John.
Dude, the rocket, I mean, you can see the frustration on Zekin's face there. The rocket just humming right past Autumn.
That ultimate, it can be so hard to land sometimes. And even when you think it lands. Yeah, and even when you think it lands, it might not even kill fully.
Last round of the half, you see it on the timeline. The rounds have come in bunches for the wave Sentinels. FPX responding with a bit of their own. And the chamber ult used right at the very beginning. Berlin with Goop in face has to take a step back. This is so bold.
Oh, what a punish.
So reckless. Life with 3 on the round, and Berlin cleans it up. Again, man. How many does this guy have?
The 3K spray down? I would love to get a replay on that. That was absurd.
Surely we're going to get a look at it again. Life has just been ridiculous these last couple of rounds. Again, an 8-4 half the way of FPX. You can take a look at these highlights and think over them a little bit longer. We'll be right back.
Oh, come on. Trade in any phone in any condition guaranteed and get $800 off the new Galaxy Z Fold 6. Only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.
back into the action we go. FPX with the 4-round lead. I mean, we can talk about Life and the ridiculous rounds he had, the 3Ks, the 4Ks that he had to close out the half. Autumn had some ridiculous moments as well. Dre, what do you feel like is the issue here for Sentinels?
I feel like Sentinels, they're trying their best to play together in those moments when they're peaking together, but it's either too far apart or too close together, and that's why you're seeing these multi-kills. They're giving time for FPX, who have incredible aim, by the way, to either, you know, adjust and snap to them or just collapse them, you know? So it's such a weird thing because it's not like they're not doing things together.
Right.
They're trying to. It's just sometimes the timing is just not there. And they need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out right now, especially on these retakes on the defensive side. It's going to be crucial.
The spacing seems to have been an issue. I do think you're absolutely correct. We'll see what the defensive side looks like. Again, 5 rounds in a row to close out the half for FPX off of heroics from a couple of individual members that were just having their way with what Sentinels was throwing at them. We will see if that is any different going into this round. As we head into the pistol, you've got 4 classics in light armor on the side of FPX. Meanwhile, full ghosts for Sentinels.
Very interesting buy here.
It's interesting.
The death ball approach for sure.
Yeah, take a look at Zekin's position. He was for the longest. I mean, he's still back in spawn, waiting for any noise, waiting to be as reactive as he can be, as quickly as he can be, because this is very decisive out from FPX.
Oh, what a fade eye!
It was perfect. John's getting on 9. Zekin on the swing out, trying to find a little bit more as Ayang has crept back sight. Him and Berlin, those two in tandem, just pushing their way forward, trying to mow over Sentinels, and it's Autumn who cleans things up. Zekin's left alone. He's trying to tuck down 22 HP. It's someone over the top. He's gotten behind him. Zekin with the 3K in the round for Sentinels.
Unreal from the kid. I thought when he ran out of CT alone, he would get punished for it. But no. He just cleans it up. Sneaks right behind. Right here is when I thought it was going to be wraps. But just sneaking by on the reload on top of it. Autumn.
One enemy remaining.
Poor guy's been having such a good game, but just didn't guess right this time around. He went for the jumping classic. Yeah, he knows he got away with murder right there.
Yeah, he did. But honestly, I mean, you mentioned Autumn. He had a 2K there, a 3K on the round, if I'm not mistaken, with a little pixel angle. It was over Tuna. It was nice.
It was a very cool strat. I mean, that's why they bought the classics. They isolated, cut the sight in half. The classics were good in all those fights, all that close range.
Just not good enough to get him over the board. So Sentinels win the second half pistol. No investment on the side of FPX.
Yeah, not too crazy of an investment for the side of Sentinels either. You have 2 Spectres, a Stinger. Yeah, you have an Outlaw and a Bulldog, but I mean, going into the next round, you don't really have much to work with, I feel like. Great molly.
Very nice indeed. Autumn just continues to
He's
find
unreal.
success, man. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he keeps getting away with it.
Just chamber things, man.
One enemy remaining.
And so, a weapon upgraded for Berlin, who's now got the Bulldog in hand and left in a 1v3.
Oh, he's getting ran at.
Nowhere to go.
Yeah.
No room is safe.
Zelsis with the spray and pray Stinger. Intuition was on point. He's had a lot of smoke spam kills so far in this map. A lot on Autumn.
And again.
Oh, what a shot. This kid is so insane.
We're in it. Let's go, boys.
They are in it now with that. I mean, only 2-round difference here.
Yeah.
From
the Vibes merchant himself.
And you know how I was talking about how it was a light investment in the previous round? Look at this now. You got 2 Phantoms, one on Zekin, one on Zelsis.
And the Bulldog and the Outlaw.
And it's aggression, too.
They've got something to work with here. Sentinels very far up a short.
Oh, yeah. That fade eye. Been really impressed so far from Saucy using some of these lineups that he's had. I mean, that pistol round one, that was really big. This time around, he gets info on market area. And Sen decided to back off, re-clear showers. But Autumn, he waited that out, and it's going to be a little bit of a battle here. Could have been.
Meanwhile, you saw Life grab that ult orb towards Belong. I think that's going to be a key part of how they try to approach these later rounds on the attack. Have Life go in, create as much havoc as possible, get info. There's so many ways you can play around a Yoruel.
Yeah, and his kit in general. He left a clone there, and they're actually going to lean back towards A, I believe, and use that clone as a feint for the hit.
Yeah,
this is some very cool stuff.
There's a lot of presence here. I mean, oftentimes you see a fake and it's 1 or 2 members, but I think they can send it and then they go through TP, they head back towards showers.
Yep, and the problem here is if Autumn doesn't win this 1v1, it gets thwarted.
And that's exactly what happened. So now they, what, do they try to reinvest back towards B?
I think they have to full commit. The spike is all the way up base short. Saucy, he's just going to delay right now.
Things have been thrown into disarray. I thought Life was going to try to get out. If he dies, yeah, that's a spike. That's a problem.
He's so smart.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Dre. If that kill goes the way of FPX and Showers, they have so many things at their disposal.
Yeah.
But that goes down, you've lost Showers control, and then the spike is in this awkward, like, well, do I go up A? Do I TP back B? Or are you guys going to come to us?
Yep.
What's the play?
And I get it. I know Autumn's feeling himself right now. He wants to take that 1v1.
Yeah,
but
sure.
There's no downside to just waiting, holding an off angle, and waiting for your squad to come up and run in with you and get the trade instantly. So a little bit of a mistake there, maybe just getting a little bit too overconfident in that moment. Because, yeah, as soon as he drops right here alone, I mean, that's a very risky peak to take.
Yeah. On an off angle like that, too, I mean, that's tough to win. It doesn't really matter who you are.
I mean, you just wait for your team. The worst case scenario is you trade, and then you have the site for free. But the setup on the strat was really nice from FPX. The execution just wasn't quite there. And great job from Sentinels to clean that one up. Ooh.
Oh, you're in trouble.
What's going on right now?
You gotta get out of there. Zekin's not able to stay alive, but they're trading out from Tens is nice. Life now down. Ayang has a rifle.
I mean, taking every single timing possible. Look at this.
Yeah.
All the way through. In spot. Oh, Celsius. He read him like a book somehow. That's so rough.
Yeah, very clean shots. Berlin wasn't able to do anything there. You know, we saw this a lot when FPX played against Heretics. They invest into Ayang. It doesn't really matter who it is that has the hot hand or what it is that's going on. If there's a hero rifle, be it the Guardian or the Vandal, whatever it is, it often goes into his hands, and that's the case here. There are 2 members out towards A. Zelsa's the only one close by. If he gets cleaned up, that's an open sight. Stays alive so far. The Molly to buy a little bit of time as 2 reinforcements. Again, the 2 remaining members of Sentinels trying to get over as quickly as they can. 1 for 1. There's not a lot of time. He's going to have to win those out on his own, and he cannot. We're tied at 8.
Yeah, Saucy cleaning it up there. Fade Ultimate online and available. Nice stuff from Sentinels to weather the storm. That was that quick showers and short A push. Zelsis, he is on point right now with his intuition. The fact that he turns around in time for both those scenarios. I mean, you know, he almost gets caught right there by Autumn.
Yeah.
But Autumn just couldn't settle the shots.
Yeah.
And then the Phantom pre-fire spray. That's the advantage of using the Phantom in scenarios like this. And that's why you see him vibing up there.
Yeah, we talked about it in the arrival interviews. We talked about it when they walked out on stage. We even saw it when we saw a couple of members of Sentinels backstage before they even walked out onto the stage. For a team that's facing elimination in the biggest tournament of the entire year, they seem really relaxed. They seem very, like, just comfortable and chill.
And they need to be that way, and they need to be confident. And this is the scary time right now for FPX because a confident Sentinels, I mean, that's not a team you want to play against. They can be Titans. We've seen it.
Yeah.
If you get them going, they will destroy you.
Well, I think on the other side, you know, to play devil's advocate here a little bit, you talk about a team that is look confident. I look towards FPX, man. You think they have tried setting the pace from the very first round of the map, too. So it really just feels like it's like just who's going to lean into the confidence a little bit more.
Yeah. And not be too overconfident as well, right?
Yeah, not like go too far.
It's this fine line that you always have to tread. And it's a really good sign for Sentinels fans out there that they're playing in this way because I feel like you watched their last couple of matches, you know, they really haven't had that same spark, that same, you know, motivation. Even in the reactions of the players, it's looked very serious, like you said. Now they look a lot more loose. And, I mean, considering the scope that Sentinels as an organization are under by themselves, right? It's a lot of pressure that it mounts onto you. Being lighthearted can be a way to weather that.
Yeah, alleviate a little bit of it. You see Autumn's ult online. Heavy lean towards B. There's no Showers presence. There's no A presence at all. Now we're going to see Live Salt for the first time.
3 members here, though, from Sentinels.
That knife ult's really good. That's going to tag a lot of members. Berlin's already dead.
Yeah, free spam kill.
I mean, Life went out to get info, but His teammates crumbled around him.
Yeah. I mean, no chance, really. Just spam across the board.
I mean, look at where the spike is. It's out. There's no way for them to recover it.
Center looking so good right now.
Yeah, but this also feels like a plan that was poorly executed on the side of FPX.
I mean, sometimes it's just rough. I mean, Jordan Zalsis, he's had so many smoke kills so far. Oh, what a shot. Oh, he almost connected onto that one, but TenZ, he'll clean it up along with Zekin, the 1-2 punch. But yeah, Zalsis, I mean, if we have a smoke kill counter on this map, he's had at least, I swear it's like half of his kills.
Yeah, he's gonna
7 kills at least.
I'd love to take a look at that round again. I mean, we'll see.
Look at this.
We'll see some of the plays.
Oh, okay, that was just.
Or some of the kills, excuse me. But, you know, so Life goes out with his ult, tries to get a little bit of info on site. As soon as an Eiffel comes out, we saw Berlin TP forward.
Yeah, that was...
And he was the one who had the spike and just dies out in the middle of the site. And from that point forward, there was really no way for any sort of Octagon presence to come out onto the site. The spike was in no man's land, and that's where it really felt like the round fell apart.
Yeah, I didn't catch that TP from Berlin. That was so insane. I mean, that was so risky.
And you see where the risk did not pay off in this instance. Autumn, again, a hot hand, but man, has it gone cold.
Jeez. The contact approach from FPX, it hasn't been working. They need to just do an execute at some point of this half. Try to get the spike planted, at least.
Well, but you got to think about it, though, Dre. It feels like, you know, we think about FPX and the crazy year that they've had. I want to take us back to Shanghai. One of the things that people were so excited about was how FPX played their attacking side, particularly how they played the entire map.
Yeah, with all the smokes and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
There were double pump fakes. There were triple pump fakes. I mean, they played everything so beautifully on the attack side. And, yes, there was some, like, heavy exec rounds, but that didn't really feel like their DNA.
Yeah, this contact style has just not been working for them so far. I mean, look, another just dry walk into the crosshairs that are trained on them from Sentinel.
And Zekin's able to tuck back in and stay alive. Pops back out with his ult, not going to connect onto anything, but this delay is just so difficult to navigate. I mean, they've barely made it out of short at this point. They haven't really gotten U-Haul. They haven't really gotten a ton of space at all.
And if you look at the ultimates, there's still so many online and available for Sentinels. Look at that. Life is done.
He's cooked. He was tethered, fried. He's done.
Another barbecue. Sentinels are definitely at the cookout. And TenZ, he didn't even have to use that thrash. He has that available for another retake if he wants or an aggressive play, but they don't really need to do anything. Them just holding off angles has been the key to success. Look at this. 2 different off-angle kills, and then what? It's 5v3. You have full confidence in your squad of the retake. I mean, tether right there. Life can't escape, even if he wanted to.
No, I even think about that off-angle that Saucy was holding a couple of rounds ago in Showers.
Yeah.
Right, when the intent was to go back and hit back towards A. It really has felt like that's been their success this whole time. I mean, look at the timeline. That's 6 rounds in a row.
It's obnoxious.
It's just been so dominant on this side.
This Sentinels roster, once they get going, it's impossible. It feels so smothering.
Look at the adjustment here out from FPX. I was talking about how they like to put the hero rifle in the hands of Ayang. This time it's in Autumn's.
Oh, proactivity with the thrash. But a great bait.
Yeah, that's really nice.
TenZ had some backup there from John to pick up that thrash again. He'll have it for the next hit. It's just a cycle of utility right now from both sides. All of Hookah just got cleared out. That's why you see them taking space. It's John QT and Saucy. And TenZ, he leaned towards A. And I wonder if this is all to crunch if players go Hookah. He'll send that thrash through the TP. As I say that, it's going to be a B long hit, though.
Paranoia goes out, Life goes forward. They have a lot of space here.
Yeah.
The thing is, they haven't dealt with the Hookah presence that you were mentioning a couple of rounds ago.
Yeah, and Sentinels, they're comfortable with this for that reason. There comes the crunch. Oh, it's slowed.
There comes the thrash. There comes the crunch that you mentioned. And yeah, with the alarm bot at his feet. Slowed, sure, but it's really just delaying the inevitable.
Oh my gosh, and the jiggle as well from Zelsis. He spotted all 3 members there. It's just easy pick'ems for John QT.
3 on the round for the leader. Saucy's gonna clean up the lap. Sentinels will get to 11.
It just looks so easy for Sentinels. They're reading FPX so hard right now. Showing B long presence, leaning back towards Hookah. Tense, he goes all the way back around A for that Thrash to go through the TP. It's beautiful. It's beautiful VALORANT we're seeing right now from Sentinels. Night and day from the last time they played.
I mean, it's got to be pretty when you win 7 in a row. But I think the other thing I want to mention very quickly is you talked about how it feels like...
I did something.
I almost just spit out the water I just drank. That was crazy.
You were talking about how it feels like Sentinels are reading FPX well, and they are, but I also think a lot of the individual firepower is starting to come through, like John's, as we saw a moment ago.
Yeah, he did something.
A little pat on his back.
Hey, sometimes you got to hype yourself up, man.
Take the wins where you can get them.
Yeah.
I get it.
This is a new look right now for FPX. It's an attack side operator, and Tens is all alone here. I say that, but I mean, he has supporting cast, but he's the only one in Octagon. That was his backup. Yep, that was his backup.
I wonder here if you're expecting someone else. Yeah, Autumn is. The slow walk into it.
Unbelievably quick.
I wondered if he would be worried about it, if he would even check Octagon, given the smoke, given the fact that Saucy was playing another off angle, but the discipline and the poise out from Autumn.
Yeah. I mean, Autumn has had to play against some of the most ridiculous plays we've seen in VALORANT China. So he's got to be ready for stuff like that. People finessing around smokes or even just running through them.
They've got to understand that Hookah hasn't been cleared. Zelsis is here, and Lysor knows. But what can they do about him?
This is tough.
I mean, he's like a trap that's been laid. And it's almost like you know he's there. It's like itching in the back of your mind, but you can't really do anything about it. It's all going to be on timing. Meanwhile, Ayoung falls. Zelsis on the swing, and now the threat has been realized. Lysor falls, 3v3. Op still in the hands of Autumn, but Berlin not around for long. Meanwhile, Life only has 10 HP. John on the tap. The shot's not going to connect. Zelsis still playing up in Hookah. Finally dealt with. Finally dropped! But it's a Moroccan miracle. John gets 4 on the round, and the defuse comes through.
Oh boy, he did something again. 4. How did they bring that one back? Zelsis was in Hookah, stuck. Biding his time.
Oh, that...
The retake utility was beautiful. The trades on top of that, phenomenal. And that plan.
Enemy remaining.
What a shame. Rough stuff for FPX. Autumn did so much in that round, but he lines up with his teammate, and John, he executes.
And now Sentinels are 1 round away from having a perfect half to take Bind, to take map 1, to take FPX's map pick.
I'll handle this.
It's been an obliteration.
Interesting approach there. Do you see Life TPs, sends his TP out towards A, and then ults, and then takes the TP. Look at how far back he is. They just dropped a smoke back there. He could pop out on the other side of it. That was the play. A really cool exec from FPX, but only 1 kill found. Sentinel shutting the door on them again.
It's just so chaotic. It's a flood. Sentinels are feeling it. They can taste it.
Just 1 member left, and it's all in Berlin in a 1v2. The spam's coming through. 25 HP. Too many targets to deal with. Sentinels roar their way through a dominant second half to take Bind. 13-8.
Just wow. That's all you have to say about that half from Sentinels.
We'll see if Lotus tells a different story. What a dominant performance to close things out on Bind. We'll see you guys on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere.